Scratch that, I'll get some beers and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need, some old man huggy. Old man huggy. Some old man huggy. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.
Recording in progress.
What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy, Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Goody Two Shoes. And who am I with, as always? Joseph Huggins, aka Old Man Huggy. Talk shit or get off the pod. Episode 174. The pyramids and the DUI hires at the Pentagon. Welcome, motherfucker. What's going on?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Never been better. How are you?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream. No, I'm doing all right, man. It's been a process, but I'm doing fucking good, man. Honestly, overall doing pretty fucking great. Can't lie.
Boom, there you have it.
Boom. Boom goes the dynamite. What does your shirt say?
It says Chong's Choice. This is
Tommy Chong. Yeah.
Tommy Chong's either his, like, I think it might be his pipes and bong line that I used to slang wholesale. Holla at your boy.
Okay. Shout out. Shout out.
But it also might be his CBD, which I also used to slang. Shout out.
Out there legally selling weed. That's what I'm talking about.
So it's one of those.
Texas has just passed a bill banning all hemp-related products.
Oh.
But then Edible Arrangements, the parent company of Edible Arrangements, started a delivery service for THC, and the first state they're doing it in is in the state of Texas. Make that make sense.
Edible Arrangements.
The parent company that owns Edible Arrangements is doing like a THC edible delivery service, and the first state they're launching it in is Texas.
Crazy.
I mean, how long is that gonna last?
I don't know, dude.
That doesn't make any sense. Although that would be funny if it was like you got a new job and I sent you like a edible arrangement of weed or something like that, so you could fuck with some people. But I mean, I don't know. I don't need like Hot Wheels rolling up to my front door being like, "Hey, bitch."
Well, maybe it's like there's a medicinal exception.
I don't know if there's medicinal exceptions inside the state of Texas.
Well, don't you guys have medicinal dispensaries?
I feel like I think there's one.
Okay, so there is no dispensaries in fucking Texas. This is what I fucking told people, and then I thought you were refuting this.
No, they'll sell like Delta 8.
Right, that's what
Delta
I thought.
9. Yeah. Now they'll just come up with like Delta 15.
You don't have any proper dispensaries in Texas.
No, you gotta go to Oklahoma.
God damn.
Right? You gotta go to Oklahoma.
So you need a weed man?
Oh yeah, you definitely need a weed man in the state of Texas.
That is wild.
Yeah, but the market is so crazy now that you can, if you needed to get that, I mean, the prices aren't like high school prices, so it's not that bad. You would just need to know somebody who could get you weed. But a lot of it's like carts and shit. So I mean, if you're brave enough, people make the trek to Oklahoma or Colorado and just drive back with it. That's whenever you see like, oh, they caught somebody with 10 ounces and 1,500 carts. But carts are really big down here. Like weed pens, dab pens are huge in Texas. Like, but I tell people like that's possession of a controlled substance. You might as well be walking around with like a bag full of Xanax. Like it's not like if you get caught with that, you're in way more trouble than if you just got caught with like a couple grams of weed. They're like, no, it's not. I'm like, no, that is. It's a control.
What is going on out there, dude? I was just like,
it's always been like that.
After work, just like walked into the dispensary, like chatted it up with the person in the front. They're bumping music. They got like the NBA pregame on in the big screen. You know, it's like it feels like you're in a mall, like, and somebody just helps me out, gets me a few drinks, give them $20, $40 this time, uh, walk out.
Yeah, when I was
Crazy.
in Denver, there was this place like the weed station. It was an old gas station that they turned into like a weed shop. And you would go in there, you could get in line, buy your shit, and then on the way out, they just give you a free dab. So you would just see people coming out like, whoa, like instantly. Like they would just give you a free dab in line, give you a free big old fat dab of weed, and send you on your way like the nice weed man next door. I actually had one of those in Austin where he
I don't
would.
think that shit would play out here.
No, I mean probably not. I mean people would just be in there like buying papers and.
It's kind of just like don't consume this shit on the property. Like it's kind of like the handshake agreement they have with the city. You know, it's like we'll let you build a dispensary, but like we don't want people like smoking weed like outside of it.
Yeah, you get a complimentary dab. They'd ask you want a dab? You'd be like, sure. Do I want to like
wild.
Not smoke the weed I just bought for a couple hours and like vibe out? Yeah, that sounds fucking awesome. We used to have this guy that I'd get weed from way back in the day in Austin, and that's what he would do. He would go over there, who's my neighbor, pick up some shit, and then he'd be like, hey, do you want to hit a couple dabs? And you would go back to where you go back. I'd go back to my apartment at the time and just be like way too high for like 4 or 5 hours and just be like, what? It was crazy times. Like, this is the best guy ever. He was weird though, because he would like passively aggressively like argue with his girlfriend like while you were there. So you'd be hanging out and he'd be like, hey, you want one? You'd be like, yeah. And then she'd be like, hey, can you? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not down here hanging out with somebody, you know, having a conversation. And they would
That's
like
awesome.
I would be like, whoa, like this is
That's like Pulp Fiction type shit.
it was like it would trip you the fuck out to where it's like, hey man, like nah, I'm good, I just want to get my shit and go, because you knew that there was about to be some weird ass argument about like
He's like, no, you're staying.
yeah, like, no sit, no, that happened before, no, you can sit,
You sit.
you don't need to
sit.
go anywhere, you're
Yeah.
fine. And you'd be like, oh, okay. Like, can I leave? My front door is like 8 feet that way. Can I go?
Oh,
like,
goddamn.
I appreciate the offer. And it'd be like rude if you didn't stay. It'd be like, oh, so you don't want one? Oh, and then she'd be like, what'd you do to him?
He's
Not
passive aggressive to you.
Yeah, and then they're like, what did he do to you to make you want to leave? And you're like, nothing. It's both of you. Like, God damn it, leave me the fuck alone. Used to trip me the shit out.
Trip you the shit out.
Yeah, to be like, 20, 25 again. That was a wild fucking time.
I just can't believe you still have to get a weed, man.
That's just how it is in Texas. Or like now everybody's like, oh, I went to the vape store and bought some Delta 77. And I'm like, okay. Or they buy like gummies. There's a whole market for it. So that ban it's not like taking effect yet. So I'm sure there's just like gas stations just like pumping that out. Like you can buy all sorts of wild shit at gas stations because it's not weed, it's like bath salts or something where they're like, oh, this is banned. And then they change 2 chemicals and replace them with like cyanide and insecticide. And then you're like, oh, and they're like, now you can smoke it. It's cool, man.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they could just make it legal and then it would be totally fine and like you wouldn't have to worry about any of that.
If you want weed and you want to gamble,
and they would tax it and make money.
Yeah, if you want weed and you want to gamble, you got to go to Oklahoma. But Texas, Wild Wild West, don't tread on me, baby. That's how we do it. Land of the free. But
you guys are so fucking weak, dude.
But if you want to gamble, you got to go to Choctaw or fucking Windstar. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But shout out.
Meanwhile, I could just go to Surfers Point in Ventura and go play poker.
But shout out to Windstar. Won a lot of money out there, so I ain't hating on Windstar, but I just play craps.
I still have $1 chip from Windstar.
It's like a slot machine, fucking graveyard. It's just like old boomers power smoking cigarettes, staring at the Buffalo something machine or the Game of Thrones machine, cursing at Jon Snow because they got like 3 Daenerys or something. I'm like, what? Like, I can't. Where's the craps table? And if the craps table's full, then I go play like Hold'em or something, and then I come back. That's it. Never been a slots guy. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. I don't know. How is that fun? How are slots fun? Anything new? What's going on in the wonderful world of Mr. Goody?
Got a dresser.
Oh, hey, shout out. New furniture, backdrop
And-
changing,
and
curtains.
You can't see, but your boy hung his TV.
Okay. And then, you got some curtains up. Like, we see you out here making moves bit by bit. I'm waiting for you to put something on that white blank wall to the other side, but we see you out here. Okay. Making moves.
Every day, making money moves like I instruct yoga.
Did you build that dresser or did it come assembled?
It's actually my brother's.
Oh, okay.
It was delivered to the house about 4 weeks ago, with his shit in all of the drawers. Just this evening, he came by, got all his shit out of the drawers. It was in my living room this whole time. I moved it from the living room into my room tonight.
Anything worth taking in the drawers?
There was a steamer,
Okay, tight. That's kind of worth it.
candle.
Maybe. What scent?
I forget.
If it's lavender.
We were gonna hold. We thought about like holding the shit hostage, in order to get some more concessions out of him, because like I saw like the shit that, because he was moving from Santa Barbara to San Diego, and he was putting in his place in San Diego is fully furnished, so he's like has to like put shit in storage or drop it off here if we're gonna use it. So like the dresser I could use. So
Okay.
we took it, and we got a couch. He gave us a couch.
Fuck
And
yeah.
some patio furniture, except for like one of the benches broken. He says I did it.
Of
Back
course.
when we lived in Westlake. I said Wera did it.
It's fair.
To be fair, to be honest, he probably did it.
Probably. I mean,
Shots fired.
but shout out to Braids, dude. Just making moves. I miss the shirtless Braids walking around in the background when you're at the
You miss
kitchen
that?
table. Yeah, that was always funny because he was like, now he's moving up from Santa
forgot about
Barbara.
that.
Yeah, from Santa Barbara to San Diego, making moves, dude. The Braids.
Yep.
Updated his profile pic. I saw that. Shout out.
Shout out.
Gave it a heart.
OD goes firm. odgoesfirm.com. odgoesfirm.com. There you go, Brady.
Yeah, odgoesfirm.com/edu.
I don't even know if it's .com. I don't even know if that's the website.
Me neither, but we're dropping you a line, Braids. So give your boy like a credenza or some shit. That's what I'm saying. Hook my boy up. The
Now I'm
Chase
gonna have to, yeah.
Chase Lounge. You know
All
what
right,
I'm
let's
saying?
get it. Let's get it cracking.
Curio, duvet. You know what a curio is? It's like that little weird thing that old white ladies have that has a glass door with shelves that they put like clown figurines and shit in. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out.
He did get like a rolling bar,
He got a what?
like a bar cart.
Oh, he gave you a bar cart?
No, like we had one when we lived in West. Like he bought, like like if Timo existed, he would have gone ham. But like whatever he did, he just like bought an entire apartment. When we moved in, it was like in a 3-week span. All of a sudden, there was just like TVs, couches, a bar cart, table, patio furniture, fucking this dresser,
He just
fucking
OD'd.
record player.
Oh,
Like,
just went off the deep end with it.
yeah,
And now he's like, hey, can I store this shit here?
exactly.
They're like, yeah, I did that when I was in Colorado. I was stuck with a lot of shit. I was like, yo, bro, any of y'all want this couch? Like, who wants this couch with a matching love seat? Because I ain't got fucking room for it. But sometimes, I mean, if you have a lot of space, you want to fill it up. Empty space can.
No, I mean it was cool.
I was like, dude, if he dropped off a bar cart, that's fucked up. Like, get out of here. Unless it's full of Monster Energies. Get the fuck out of here, Braids. With your bitch ass. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of topics. We don't have a lot of therapy questions. I'm going to ramble about this shit for a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
I'm excited. Shut up. This is awesome. This is like, I live for this shit because it's great. And I've had this conversation. I posted something about the pyramids on the story, And then one of my buddies was like, bro, back when we were waiting tables and we were like 22, I remember you just rambling about this shit and rambling about Planet X and Nibiru and Lost Galaxies. And he's like, bro, I need to watch this episode because this shit sounds tight. So this is from Yahoo News. There's tons of different articles. I tried to just find one that had good pictures of what supposedly happened, but it's titled Experts Clash Over Underground City Beneath the Pyramids. This is by Michael Searless. This is from Sunday, March 23rd, 2025. Just to start it off. Claims of an underground city exist beneath ancient Egyptian pyramids that have caused a row among experts. Researchers from Italy say they have uncovered giant vertical shafts wrapped in spiral staircases under the Khafre pyramid, which is the middle pyramid. So it's not the big mega pyramid. It's not the little baby bitch one. It's the one in the center because there's three. They said on Sunday that they have found limestone platforms with 2 chambers and channels that resemble pipelines for water systems more than 2,100 feet below the pyramid, with underground pathways leading to even deeper into the earth. But the claims which have not been published or independently peer-reviewed, were labeled false and exaggerated by fellow Egyptologists. So if you know anything about Egypt, and you know anything, this is just true. If you know anything about Egypt and the people that study the Egyptian pyramids and Egyptologists, they're fucking assholes. So if anybody says anything that strays away from what mainstream beliefs are and how the pyramids were built, is built by a bunch of slaves or built by 50,000 Jews or whatever you've heard, any of those theories are cool. If you step outside the circle of that, you get shot down so fucking quick. So incredibly
Step
quick.
outside of the pyramid.
Yeah, like everything is like, no, that's bullshit. No, that's bullshit. That guy's fucking lying. And there's tons of examples of this, but they're fucking dicks, man. Like, there's no room for any more research. That's why they are very strict on the excavations that they do within the pyramids and all sorts of stuff. But Professor Cordoro Malangan and his team from University of Pisa use radar pulses to create high-resolution images deep into the ground, similar to how sonar radar maps the ocean. So they won't allow anybody to do any research on the pyramids. So you have to ask them permission, and they deny all the time. So these guys use satellites in space and basically use LiDAR, which is what we use to map the jungle when they're like, oh, there's a hidden pyramid that we never knew, or there's an ancient city that's covered up in all this vegetation and foliage in the Amazon. Like, that's what they use. They use LiDAR. These guys used a private company who had their own satellites to just scan this shit without permission because they wouldn't let them do it on site, so they did the shit from space.
And do that shit on site. It's Corrado Malanga.
Well, I mean, he's supposed to be Italian, so that you made him sound really Spanish. So, I mean, that's close enough. Yeah, Italian, Spanish. I might get in trouble for that. In a statement, he said, "We can magnify the images in the future. We will reveal reveal that beneath it lies what can only be described as a true underground city. Scientists have also said there's an entire hidden world of many structures, and that the pyramid of Khafre might conceal undiscovered secrets, notably the fabled Hall of Records. The Hall of Records, a concept polarized in ancient Egyptian lore, is believed to be an ancient library beneath the Great Pyramid or the Sphinx, with vast amounts of information about ancient civilizations." So you've heard me ramble.
The ancient civilization.
Or the ancient civilization, but probably more. So there's 7 wonders of the world. I've said if there's one thing I'd go check out Lighthouse of Alexandria, library, tons of information, burned down in arson. If there's any missing pieces or understanding of ancient civilizations that we don't have, probably existed there and was burned to the ground. But they're also saying there's 5 other chambers inside the pyramid that no one's discovered yet. That via the LiDAR, they can see other rooms that exist inside this pyramid via these images that nobody's been to. Obviously,
But
Egyptology.
why haven't they been there? Like, I don't get it. How big is this pyramid? Like, that it's been around for thousands of years and we haven't been in every room yet.
I mean, they still discover shit all the time. They're just
I know,
saying
but why? I don't get it.
because,
How hard could it be when the pyramid's there? Go.
well, I mean, you don't want to destroy the pyramid to find something. And also, like I said, there's people who don't want people to do that. If you were to discover
So
something,
do you think these are really undiscovered, or are they just
or covered up,
yeah?
conspiracy, probably
Right.
probably covered up. If Egyptologists were aware of anything like this taking place, they wouldn't.
What about ancient astronaut theorists?
Ancient astronaut theorists would be like, "Oh yeah." Ancient astronaut theorists believe that there's a whole theory that these are actually like power plants. They weren't actually used for what we think they were. They're not actually tombs for coffins and kings. That they were actually sources of energy. Because there's hieroglyphs that look like there's light bulbs in them. I mean, there's the whole thing with the Baghdad battery where they found these things that are like clay pots with copper in them, and if you put citrus like juices in it and you put the copper in there, it creates an electric charge. Like, that's actually real. So
Yeah.
there's some people that think that these are like giant Baghdad batteries in some way, shape, or form, or they've said that before, that these were like power plants. Pyramids were used as a way to generate energy. We don't know how, but they were used in a way to create energy that would power these ancient civilizations. There's no like direct proof of it, but that's something that people theorize that those are used for. I'm just telling you what people talk about. Professor Lawrence Conyers, a radar expert from the University of Denver who focuses on archaeology, told Daily Mail it was not possible for the technology to penetrate that deep into the ground. He said the idea that it proves an underground city exists is a huge exaggeration. But he said it's conceivable small structures such as shafts and chambers may be present from before the pyramids were built. He highlighted how the Mayans and other people in ancient Mesoamerica often built pyramids on top of entrances to caves or caverns that had ceremonial significance to them. They worked with Professor Mangala to follow. That's like, what's it? Never mind. Malanga, a fellow researchers of Filippo Bondi and Armando Mi were previously discussed in the briefing last week. So supposedly there's this conference where all this information is going to be coming out. But what they're saying exists before I continue to, actually, here you go. Vertical shafts identified the ground were about 33 to 39 feet in diameter, located at a depth of at least 2,130 feet, researchers said, adding that they may support the pyramid, which needs a strong foundation, otherwise it may sink. So some people are saying, oh, if these exist, they're just there to hold this shit up. But it's like the spiral staircases are weird. What they're talking about is there's a pyramid, and then underneath there's these big cone-looking fucking things that are underneath it, like giant pillars that have these coils that run all the way down. And then below that, there is another structure that it's about 6 kilometers below the surface. So the LiDAR has picked up shapes, whatever, images of stuff almost 6 kilometers below the base of this single pyramid. Not all three, just of one of them. They just scanned one. But he said it's conceivable, yes. He highlighted that. The project spokesman, Nicole Sicolo, shared a video on Saturday of the trio discussing their findings that are yet to be published in a scientific journal. The team focused on that pyramid, which among Khufu and Menkaure pyramids make up the 3 Giza complex. The pyramids are thought to have been built 4,500 years ago and set on the west bank of the Nile River. Now, this is something that's interesting. Joey Bag of Donuts has this one guy on all the time. He's like an Egyptologist, but he kind of bucks the system. There is a theory that the Sphinx was built way earlier, that the Sphinx existed when there was still vegetation and rain and water was very heavily present there, because there are signs of water erosion on the Sphinx. So if you look where the Sphinx is cut out and you look on the base and you look at how There's ways you can tell water erosion over time, and especially on the walls that surround where they cut the Sphinx out of the ground, there's water erosion. There's like signs of it cracking, runoff, along the sides of the walls, along the Sphinx, the base of the Sphinx. And so he has a theory that the Sphinx was built way before the pyramids were there. Like it would fuck up the timeline. And that's really what some of this stuff does. So if these platforms were built there and it was propped up on it beforehand, cave or no cave, how long ago would you have to be building out there before everything was covered by the Sahara Desert and it's covered in sand? Because at one point the Sahara Desert did have water. There was lush vegetation there. There was like lakes and seas, all sorts of shit, right? It didn't look like it does now. That is a product over time and over climate change and waters receding. So they're saying that there's people who actively believe and have said for years that like the Sphinx is more like, I don't know, 30,000 years old and not 4,500, not 6,000 years ago. Maybe it's 15,000 years ago. And if the Sphinx was built 15,000 years ago, every Egyptologist is out of a job. That's why there's an active, like I said, anybody who says something that is steps away from what the mainstream understanding of what the Egyptian history is pretty much shot down immediately by these Egyptologists. There's one guy, one asshole. He's always on CNN. You'd know him if you saw him. It's like Zahar. No, not Zahawi. That's I can't remember what his name is. Starts with a Z. But he is, the moment this came out, he's like, bullshit. He's the dude you got to talk to if you want to go get a permit and explore or excavate anywhere. He's the one who uncovers new tombs. It's like the same fucking dude for everything. He says this is all bullshit. I hope it's not, because that would be badass. But if the Hall of Records is there, if there are actually underground structures there, if shit goes down 6 kilometers deep, it makes the timeline of history for everybody changes a little bit.
A little bit?
Well, a lot of it. That would fuck a lot of shit up. That would make things crazy. Because then it's like, how did you build these columns that are like 40 feet tall on top of something that's almost 6 kilometers down with these intricate spiral staircases that run down it? I mean, they've just released some of the pulses, some of like the imagery. It's LiDAR, so it looks like shit. It's like, you know, if you watch the Treasure of Oak Island, where it's a bunch of dads on that Oak Island place, and they're like out there with their gold finders digging in the money pit looking for, I don't know, Christopher Columbus's lost, I don't know, like cock ring or whatever the fuck's at the bottom of that. But the imagery that they show is always really crappy. But they're supposed to do some massive release of all of this data with a big press conference to discuss what their findings are and then continue to do this. And they can't stop them from doing this, and that's why they're trying to like shut it down and shoot it down pretty quickly. Yeah, signals came from 2 satellites about 420 miles above Earth and were directed at the pyramid. The experts then monitor how they bounce back and convert the signals into sound waves, which allows them to see through the solid stone and map out the underground structures in 3D. They say they're completely consistent in using 2 satellites ruled out. So, or 2 satellites ruled out the chance of misinterpretation. And the issue is LiDAR's pretty solid. Like, the idea of it, that's how they find, like, that's how they found fucking dead bodies, where people bury people in holes in the ground, and then they can go find them. Like, sonar is viable. LiDAR is totally viable for mapping the ocean, mapping the, like, Marianas Trench. How deep is it? They use fucking LiDAR. Like, that's what they use to do that stuff. And that's what this independent research team has used to discover these supposed structures. So five extra rooms inside the pyramid. If you're looking at the stream, there's a picture of it. So 5 extra things in top, like inside the pyramid, that look very similar to chambers that already exist. So it's not like they're like, oh, this is some weird polygon shit. They're consistent with the other structures that have been found inside the pyramid. I mean, they found another tomb that they didn't know existed within the past 10 years. Like, they find that shit all, and it was right by the main fucking entrance. People have been walking.
Oh, I see. I mean, I get hit with all this on my Facebook news feed, and I just like always feel like it's clickbait. It's like, oh, boom, we found another tomb. Boom, we found it. Like this chamber. I guarantee you, this is like something I just like scrolled past.
It's possible because we all kind of do, but the fact that they've released this information, we're gonna have a press conference to show this information or some big presentation and some exposition to talk about it, and they're gonna continue to do it, and they're pretty confident in it. It's just interesting. It's cool for a lot of reasons. Number one, people love this type of shit. I mean, if you're like me, I love something that's gonna fuck up the timeline for forever and be like, no, we were all fucking wrong. No, it's like the same with the JFK shit that I was rambling about before, which now it's like Joe Biden's a traitor. JFK Jr. called Joe Biden a traitor in the papers. Like, there's people saying all sorts of stuff. Now they're saying it's Israel and who else? It was Israel, Cuba. They came up with some dream team of everybody that hates each other, supposedly, are the people that killed JFK. But that's why everybody's obsessed with it. That's why people are obsessed with Egyptology.
What about those social security numbers they gave out in the papers? Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
They like in the documents for JFK, it was like, I forget what number, but like maybe like a dozen or more people's social security numbers. So they're like, oh fuck. So they issued all of them new social security numbers.
Damn, that's brutal.
And then went back and tried to redact it, but
yeah,
the cat, you know.
Oh, we can't redact it, man.
I know.
Yeah, the truth. But no, I mean, when you look at it, it looks like almost the pyramid was the top of something else that already existed. Now, they could have built something on top of an existing structure. That's totally possible. But the way it almost looks like the Parthenon or something like that, where it's like the pyramid's on top, it's got a bunch of pillars that hold it the fuck up, and it's on the bottom of some base. And then that base, there's stuff below that. Like they said, 6 kilometers deep, this LiDAR is picking up shit. Now, are we going to excavate 6 kilometers below? No. Like, that's the problem.
Why not?
Because they wouldn't let them. They won't let you. That's the
Why?
whole... Because
dude, we'll just pay General CC off, dude. They're fucking dictator. Trump said it's his favorite dictator. I don't know if that's true anymore.
I thought it was Orban. Or Putin.
I mean, obviously it's Putin, but like
he just can't say that right now.
But no, he did say that about General Sisi over in Egypt. Shout out, Egypt listens to the pod.
Hey, go start digging it up, man. Like, that shit's crazy. The whole idea of it's fucking badass. Like, if there is the Hall of Records or something like that, that's what I'm saying, is the way that the history has been presented, what we've been taught about Egypt. It's the same with, I don't know, that'd be like if they found Noah's Ark, but Noah's Ark was like actually like a fucking spaceship, and it was a black guy drove it. Like, they wouldn't want anybody to know that. They'd be like, nah, man, it was some white dude with a rickety old ship, because it would rewrite the way we interpret history. So that means we would have been wrong. And there's a vested interest in people not finding out if this is actually real or not. You know, just like with JFK. Oh, you know, it's probably just going to say that he did it by himself. That's probably just what it's going to say. But here's 10,000 documents, but it's probably going to be the same story. Because that's why I told you they would never let anybody really know what happened, because if it was something that was terrible or something that they didn't want us to know, why would they tell us? They'd rather just keep it as like, well, maybe this happened, than being like, oh, no, for sure. Like Lyndon B. Johnson. I think that's what it is. Lyndon B. Johnson, Israel, and what's the other? It's like some random-ass country. It's like, I don't know, like New Delhi or something random. That's a little hyperbolic. But there's another country where it's like, oh, no, like they conspired to kill JFK. That's why JFK is dead. That's what some people have assessed from reading the documents. But I mean, this is cool as shit, man. This is fucking awesome. I hope it's true. I hope there's some pillars.
So like, whenever like Cleopatra was around and shit, was Egypt this lush place,
Yeah, I mean,
or was it desert?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was desert at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, she'd already like. I mean, she was around when Caesar was around because
No,
they had a kid. Like she kind of.
I know she'd be fucking Mark Antony and shit.
Yeah, she got that dude pussy whipped. She had a bunch of dudes pussy whipped back in the day. But I mean, that's where. But we don't know how long that civilization existed. There's so many questions we don't have answered about how they built the pyramids, how they went about doing these things. And like, it's, you go to like Machu Picchu or something and you're like, how did they fucking build this? How did they move a 10-pound or a 10-ton boulder up to the top of this mountain and get it to perfectly fit on top of this other one where they look like they've been cut? That doesn't make any sense. We couldn't recreate this today. How did they do this then if we think they're more primitive? So if, let's say these are not stairs, but it's like power coils in the base of this pyramid. Maybe what if the pyramid was a power source and it was deriving something from the ground and then funneling it up to the top? I mean, the pyramid was supposedly glossy white. It was like polished limestone with a gold cap on top. Supposedly, that's what it used to look like. Now it doesn't because of wind, erosion, and all that shit.
No. That's because the reason why it doesn't is because people went and stole it.
Well, the cap.
Just no, like all the marble or whatever the fuck it was made out of, like they just like went and like break it off and steal it.
Yeah, but then also that limestone is coming from hundreds of miles away. It's not like it was found right here because they can find the excavation sites where they took it. They can see where they've cut out like giant monoliths out of stone and they broke and then they just left it. And you're like, that monolith would weigh, and it broke under its weight. And they're like, oh, that thing weighs like 20 tons. How the fuck were they going to move that in the first place? But they cut out other ones and moved them to set them up somewhere else. So there's so many questions. We have way more questions than answers about the pyramids, about Egypt, just as a civilization and their overall history, and being able to tag a timeline and say, like, this is for sure when it started. We can't do that. Like, we can go back with the Sumerians and Mesopotamia and the Fertile Crescent and the Tigris and the Euphrates and like what we consider the birth of modern civilization because that shit's written down, but we still haven't even translated all of that shit. We're like, they had roads. How did they build this shit? How would you build the Tower of Babel that's trying to touch the sky to go talk to God? How would you build that in the first place? That's insane. We couldn't do it with the tools that we have today and recreate what they supposedly have done or what they did do and what they have recorded in history. If we can't recreate it now and we're so advanced, how did they do it then? So that's where it's interesting. It's thought-provoking because then, look, what if there is shit 6 miles below the pyramid? That's fucking crazy. That's insane. That would completely fuck everything up. If the pyramid's on stilts and it's on fucking 50-foot stilts that are connected to a base of something that goes down, and there's stuff below these pillars down to 6 miles, then everybody's full of shit.
6 kilometers.
6 kilometers, how many miles is that?
I don't know. 4.
Yeah, 4 miles below the ground. Get the fuck out of here. They might as well be in deep space, dude. You go down, I'm not going 4 miles down a hole into the fucking ground. Absolutely not. But allegedly, ancient astronaut theorists believe that this might be like a huge discovery and it would completely change how we view their history, and it could give us more answers. I mean, I hope this shit's true. I hope those are fucking power cords. I hope it's like copper wrapped in Kevlar that runs all the way up and we're like, no, this bitch was a power plant. Probably not. But
probably not.
I mean, I bet you if it's anything, it's probably some big
feels
part,
like a power plant to me.
Bigger part of a temple that
I'm going with power plant.
Okay, but I mean, it's probably a bigger part of a temple that we don't understand.
Also though, like it also could just be a fucking tomb. Like one guy built a tomb. This guy's like, I'm gonna build a bigger one.
This guy's like, on top of it.
I'm gonna build a bigger one than that motherfucker, and then I'm gonna get better
it's
at it.
Pharaoh Trump. He's like, I don't like it. I'm gonna build it on top of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use slaves because that's cool now. We can use slaves, right, guys? We're gonna put it on top, right on top, and bury it in sand so nobody will ever know. but everybody's gonna talk about it. No, I mean, the whole concept of it's fucking badass, honestly. I listened to the guy, the news guy who got sent this information, who originally released it and was like, hey, this is what these people are finding before this conference that's coming up in April. And I was like, that's fucking badass. Like, that's the type of shit we should be doing with LiDAR, discovering wild shit in the jungle. No, fuck yeah. What are we gonna do?
Waymo uses, or yeah, it's like, I think maybe it's either Elon doesn't want to use LiDAR or is only using LiDAR and no cameras. Maybe that's it. With his Tesla robo taxi, whatever the fuck. So like Waymo's the automated one.
And that's
out here for like I think Google, or they might have spin it off. But anyways, here we go. Somebody's using LiDAR and somebody isn't, and Elon's an idiot because he's like only using LiDAR or he's just not using it. Well, one or the other.
Because that's how they try to map the surfaces of like gaseous planets. We use that shit in space. Like LiDAR is proven technology that's helped solve mysteries, find missing.
Who's it invented by? The United States government.
Fuck yeah, let's go. America, land of the free, baby. Come get some. Come and take it. But don't. Unless it's like your Social Security and your Medicare and like your SNAP benefits. We'll take them. But other than that, leave it alone.
No, we'll take that too.
But yeah, I mean, if the Hall of Records is there, if some of these things are actually there, that's fucking badass. That's fucking cool as shit. The whole concept that we're even having this conversation about it is cool. Radar signals from 2 satellites.
This long is stupid.
To figure it out?
Yes, like what? Let's just get done.
Because
what are we gonna wait another 2,000 fucking years before we excavate this shit?
I mean, I don't know how you move that much sand.
That's they figured it out.
Or maybe there was no sand when they built it.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, I mean, I think the likelihood of there being lost ancient civilizations and big ass fucking cities buried under the sand in the Sahara anywhere, because the Sahara is huge as fuck, is extremely likely.
Blow it up, dude. Hit it with a bomb.
There's some people that think that the city
I'm not advocating for the United States to bomb Egypt. I'm just saying, like, in a demolition type of way.
I mean, then there's just gonna be sand everywhere. I guess there already is, so it's just like we start digging, and it's just gonna like you dig a hole, and then it's filled back up the next day. I mean, that would be the most.
I don't know how this shit works, bro. But, I mean, let's just get to the records. If they're there, like, what are we waiting for?
Well, that's the whole problem. Is there's people who would actively.
Okay, we'll get these people out of the way.
I mean, that's not how it works.
Yeah, it is. Everybody's got a price. Trump knows it.
I'll give you 2 pairs of golden shoes, a rose gold Trump watch worth $5,000,
and a Trump Bible. I know you don't believe in it, but don't worry.
Me, Melania, and Barron will sign it. Tiffany, get out of the room. Get the fuck out of the room, Tiffany. You're not signing shit. But that's the only one. That's the only signature you want.
Dude, come on, bro. Dude, shorty, come on. You know?
She'd let it slide. She'd be like, "Look, get some Trump cash. Break me off a couple pieces."
I have a hall pass, and it is not Tiffany Trump.
Who is it?
I don't know if I could. I mean, throw it on blast like that.
Oh yeah, that's not a hall pass.
Paige DeSorbo.
Okay. I mean, we'll keep you posted on this. I definitely fucking will, because this is one of the coolest stories to come out in a pretty long time. Just when it comes to this weird. I mean, think about it. We get the JFK files released. Obviously, no Epstein shit released. And now we're talking about potentially there being like underground structures 4 miles underneath the pyramids. That would fuck everything up, man. That would fuck everything up.
Fact check me on the 6 kilometers, 4 miles thing. But it says my internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, you're a little shaky, but it's all good.
Okay.
I just hope this is like borderline true, because it would just fuck up the whole timeline, and then we would know more. That's the whole point, is we should want to know more about civilizations that were here before us that we can't answer questions for. That's why we explore space. That's why we explore the oceans. That's why we do this shit. Like, if they could find the city of Atlantis, people would geek the fuck out that it even exists. Some people don't. But then there's old fucking Greek and Roman philosophers used to huff gas in caves who were like, oh, I used to go there. Imagine being one of those guys, being like Plato or something, and just like hanging out in a cave and hitting like toxic gas vapors and seeing shit and then writing books, and people think you're smart. Like, that was like a whole genre of intelligence back in the day. But there's been writings about people being like, no, I went to the city of Atlantis, it was here, this is what it looked like. But their understanding of where they were geographically is, a little flawed, I suppose. There's so much wild shit, man. Like, it.
And I can't believe you had me say my fucking hall pass on here, dude. You know what I did today?
You didn't have to, and you kind of froze, so I just rolled with it. So I think you're good.
Today? I dropped flowers off at the shorty's office. Oh.
And were people like, "Aw"?
Well, I just met her outside.
Okay, they're like, you don't have a key card and a thumbprint, you can't get in.
No.
Bro, one time I tried to take my mom flowers to her school when she was teaching on Mother's Day. I was like, oh, I'm gonna bring my mom some flowers. Bro, I had to get buzzed in through like a bulletproof storm door. Had to show them my driver's license. I swear I had to sign like 10 pieces of paper. Had to be escorted to her classroom by the principal and the school SRO officer to give just walking out to give her some roses in a Starbucks. And at about 5 minutes, they're like, all right, you got to get the fuck out of here. Let's go.
What is this, like a prison?
No, it was a middle school.
It's insane.
I was like, this is nuts.
Like, what is this, like visiting hours?
You could just walk into school.
Don't get too close. Don't get too close.
You could just walk in and no one would like question shit back in the day. You'd be like, where's the classroom? Like,
all the time.
All the time.
Just pop up. I was thinking about popping up to the kindergarten where I went with the shorty was in my class when she was in first grade, just to see if they had the yearbook from back then. And then I was like, that's kind of weird if I just showed up at like this elementary school and her son goes there. I was just like there, like trying to get a yearbook, but it's just like, why are you here?
I'm looking for a yearbook.
Yeah. And I was like,
from 32 years ago. They were like, put your hands behind your back. Do you want to tell us what list you're on, or are we going to have to run your name and figure that out ourselves, sir? Put your hands behind your back. Who the fuck do you think you are?
I know.
No, I mean,
innocent fucking, like, my girlfriend and I went to first grade to kindergarten together. They're like, shut the fuck up.
They're like, sure, pervert.
Yeah.
Take off your shoes, take off your pants. It's go time. You're like, wait, what? They're like, oh yeah, we got punishment for you guys out here. Either way, it's a super interesting story. I've been stoked to talk about it just because it defies what we've been told. I hope it's true. I hope they find some like alien shit or something like that. Some like alien Bob Ross is like hanging out down there. Even if there's some caves and they built it on top of a cave, like that would make it more impressive. If the pyramids are on top of pillars, even to keep them from sinking, that's even more impressive. That's just as impressive. It is, because that means they knew there was fucking sand there, so they knew they were going to sink. So then we better dig a 4-mile deep hole to put some pillars in these to hold this shit up and then put it on top and cover it. That's weird as fuck. That's the weirdest shit I've ever heard. That's so intricate. That's not worth it.
That's probably not what happened. That's probably why it's so fucking weird.
If the pyramids are older than 4,500 years, that fucks everybody's shit up.
I agree.
And they are. There's no way they're not. There's no way they're not. And if the Sphinx is 13,000 years old, that fucks up the timeline on how long that civilization existed and what they were able to do. That's why they said there looks like there's been multiple repairs to it to the actual Sphinx. I mean, we fucked up and we're like, we're gonna try to restore it and repair it, and we just like fucked it up more because we're stupid as shit. But yeah, I mean, this is the shit. I mean, they had meteorite jewelry, all sorts of stuff that's provable now, where they're like, oh, these beads on this necklace were all made out of meteorites. Like, that's kind of fucking wild. How are you cutting that in the first place? How are you shaping this shit into beads? We have so many questions unanswered that this is like a big question. This would be like that no one asked. Everything's been about like, oh, maybe how'd they do it? What did they do? And then you find out it's 4.5 miles tall. Get the fuck out of here. That would be bigger than finding Noah's Ark, because you could find a big ass old wooden ship and be like, oh yeah, that's probably
Noah's
it.
Ark, bro.
Hey, there's some white dude who dropped a bunch of money.
Hey, dude, I don't want to get tagged for conspiracy theories when you're bringing up Noah's Ark.
There's that dude who, some creation guy who built like a massive, like this is the accurate size.
And MAGA Mike Johnson tried to take state funds and pay for creation theme park with a life size, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Ark,
which is the most bullshit story ever. They got 2 of every animal. I'm like, bro, you got like zebras, like you caught iguanas. You had every type of bat, homie. There's no way. There's not a ship. You couldn't build a ship that big. That bitch would sink. It'd be so big and heavy it wouldn't have any buoyancy.
And think about how many mass extinctions we've had since then. Like, so we're talking about all the animals before these mass extinctions. Like, all the animals right now is too many for a fucking ark. Fucking ark.
And we're
ark.
And we're talking Jesus Christ. And we're talking about how we're killing off all these animals all the time. Dodo birds. You had dodo birds on that bitch. My fave, Tasmanian tigers. They weren't on the ark. Get the fuck out of here. There's no way. But at the end of the day, I implore y'all, go check it out. It's a good listen. It's very interesting. It's good storytelling with lots of questions. But I think this shit's real, bro. This shit's real. There is shit under the pyramids for sure. There's been stories, history, hieroglyphs, all sorts of stuff that have talked about something like this. I mean, what if it is a power plant? We have no idea what the fuck they're for. There's no way someone's like, I'm going to build this massive structure to live in it. And when I die, that's put me in it. And there's a bunch of his homies, random ass fucking people in there.
I mean, I believe it though.
Believe what? That's what they built them for?
Yeah.
For as tombs?
Yeah.
Then why do you have the Valley of the King, the Valley of the Pharaohs, where there's tons of tombs? There's not like there's
because some people were into it, some people weren't. I don't know, but
there's no room in the inn.
I'm saying like I believe anything.
That's good.
Yeah, like you could tell me anything about the pyramids. I'd be like,
so you've gone MAGA on us. I believe anything.
Yeah, and nothing at the same time.
And nothing at the same time.
Fuck yeah, dude, MAGA. I'm a MAGA-rilla.
I feel like
no, like. I
haven't heard that before.
What do you mean? It was like an episode title of one of ours.
Magarilla, was it?
It was like a clown car full of Magarilla.
Oh, that's right. We've had a couple clown cars, like Assemble the Clown Car, a clown car full of Magarillas. That's right. We've had a couple clown cars pull up to our parking lot and talk shit.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm saying like, so the tomb thing, yes, you could sell me on it. You could sell me on the fucking power plant. You could sell me on the aliens because like they line up perfectly with like the constellation.
Well, not just with the constellation. There's 3 mounds on Mars that are like identical in placement and where they are and line up in the exact same way, just like with the constellation. So there's that. If you look it up, there is actually these mounds that don't look like pyramids anymore, but they're like exact replicas.
Isn't it crazy? Like, so Mars was like Earth, right? Like at one point.
There's ancient astronaut theorists believe in Lemuria, which would be so they would say that the asteroid belt exists because there was an impact there was a planet that was larger that was destroyed by some sort of asteroid impact, and the asteroid belt is a bunch of fragments that were stuck in the gravitational pull of the sun and were frozen, and that's why they're there, and that's why Mars lost its atmosphere. So if you want to get super deep into it, the human race lived on Mars. They dipped and bounced because shit was about to get destroyed. They came to Earth, and because they knew that it was going to lose its atmosphere, because there is no atmosphere on Mars. So it's like, what washed it away? There's frozen water. There's liquid water underground that they can see. There's all sorts of weird tubes. There's tubes on Mars where there's all sorts of weird, goofy shit. So there's some people who still think that there's life on Mars just inside the planet that like went down whenever there was an impact, and then they still stay there like mole people. But that, just saying. But I love the idea of there being like
Mole people.
Well, not mole people, but the fact that maybe there was life on Mars and they bounced because it was destroyed, and that's why it lost its atmosphere.
I don't know
it
if
was
they bounced or
eviscerated.
not, but like that'd be crazy if they're bouncing back and forth between Earth and Mars.
That's true. I mean, because if they're, I'm telling you, you should look it up. There is these three things that look like pyramids that are in the exact same placement and everything of the Great Pyramids, and that line up with the constellation.
We do know that like if a civilization lasted for 50,000 years or let's say 1,000,000 years, and then 10 million years go by, we would have no idea that civilization ever existed. There would be no fossils. There'd be no nothing. So who's to say that didn't happen?
Well, that's not necessarily true.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The only reason why we have like fossils and shit from the dinosaurs is because they lived for hundreds of millions of years. But like 1,000,000 years, no, like you wouldn't have any like trace of it. But 1,000,000 years, dude, think about like us in 1,000,000 years. It'd be fucking like like insane technology. So I'm not even saying 1,000,000 years. Say 100,000, whatever the fuck.
Well, and that's why if you could prove that the Egyptians were around 15,000 years ago, that's wild. And they were building shit like that 15,000 years ago. That shit's crazy. That predates anything that we think is possible as far as we understand of like what a civilized with like roads and language. And there's some people like, I mean, we can't go past the Sumerians. We have no answers past that. We have very few answers in how they reached the point where they could map the stars and have depictions of of our solar system with all the planets in the correct positioning. Like those things exist. Like that's not made up. Like those are fucking real. They're hieroglyphs and writings and etchings in clay tablets and papyrus that you get from the Sumerians. And that's about as far back as we go, or what we considered civilized. But it's like, how'd they learn to make roads in the first place? How did they learn all this stuff about the constellation and the stars and have these star maps charted out? I mean, you could go back to the oldest depictions of maps. If you just look at maps, there's a whole conspiracy theory about maps and history of maps. There's maps that chart out the line and the borders of Antarctica before anybody came to America. That as far as we know, that chart out what the coastline of America and South America and Alaska and Greenland and the North Pole and the South Pole. These maps fucking exist. Where it's like some motherfucker sailed around that bitch and charted it the fuck out. I think the oldest map to date is like ancient, bro. Like really fucking old, way older than you'd think, and it's detailed in ways that you wouldn't expect, like hyper detailed, where it's like, no, like this is pretty accurate on what the topography would look like, minus all the ice and stuff. It's charted out like the bays, the coves, the valleys, and it's like talking about that shit that lives there, and they were drawn by some dude like 8,000 years ago. And you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. How's that even possible? Who did this map? And you could date it, you could carbon date it, and check how old it is and be like, no, this bitch is old as fuck. How this, and it doesn't make sense. So who made this map and how did they understand the topography and the coastlines of the entire world when we didn't think that was even possible? We didn't, Magellan went around the world.
Magellan.
But I mean, but other than that, it's like how did they do that? It's not like Alexander the Great was a seafaring fucking dude. He wasn't sailing around the world. He was marching up on you,
sucking dick,
and
getting his dick sucked.
he was eating ass. He was eating ass.
That is true. He is an ass man.
Oldest map of the world. 6th century Babylon. Dating all the way back to Imango Mundi is the oldest known map of the world, which shows a glimpse of ancient perspectives. I mean, like, uber detailed. Crazy detailed maps that don't make sense of the entire fucking world. And we have so many questions that we can't answer. So that's why finding something like the Hollow Records, finding something like if, the Lighthouse of Alexandria existed or you found something from there that told you something. I mean, the knowledge would be invaluable because we can't answer those questions. We hit a stopgap. You can only go back so far and then it just kind of fucking stops. And after that, it's nothing but conspiracy theories and nothing but outlandish, wild ideas because we can't answer those. And the answers that we do have don't make sense. So a lot of that stuff gets dismissed. And that's what they're trying to do with this hidden structure or underground city. I don't think it's an underground city, probably a part of the pyramid. I like the idea of the pyramid being the top of something. And these are like big structures, like, like I said, like the Parthenon, which was burned to the ground, super fucking huge. How you burn limestone and stuff marble is beyond me. But whenever you go to you go see the rubble of it, it's like, man, this place was fucking massive. How would you build this? How would you even construct this with what we think is possible? And Alexander the Great was like, no, I was there. Put that bitch on the list. Or the Hanging Tower, or the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, where you have all these different. You have a lush forest growing on the side of this big ass fucking complex in the middle of a pretty desert climate where it's pretty shitty outside. Like these things, some of them just don't make sense. Colossus of Rhodes, some big ass dick swinging dude with both legs over the entrance of a bay into the bay town of Rhodes that people used to sail their ships underneath to get into harbor. And that's like, the Statue of Liberty where they would face each other if it was there. The one would be facing this way, the other would be facing that way. There's no explanation on how they built it. We know it existed. It's gone now, but we know it existed. How did they fucking build that? Doesn't make sense. I love this shit. I love history and I love the missing pieces and that we have to fill in the gaps. It'd be awesome if we could fill them in ourselves. That's all I'm saying.
With facts.
Yeah, with facts. Therapy question number 2. Not that that was even a therapy question. I just had to talk about it. Therapy question number 2. Can we as a country recover from what's transpired over the last 3 months? Do you think we're able to recover from some of these things that we've seen?
Yes.
And why do you believe that?
Because we've seen worse so far. I mean, we've been in more peril in the past. That being said, the Iron Ape was like, no, because this is going to go on for another 3 years and 9 months. It's going to come to a head, I think. It's like with the courts and something, I don't know. Like, something's got to give, eventually. And I feel at the pace that we're going, the Social Security shit might break it. It's like if these fuckers stop going out, Republicans are all of their constituents, it's gonna affect all of them, and it's gonna be no longer viable to support this shit if they want to stay in office, which we all know that's all they want to do. They hate government, but they want to stay in fucking government and destroy it. But they're gonna lose their seats, and so that's really what it's gonna be.
Well, and I mean, is the answer to do tons of executive orders reversing the stuff that's been done?
Well, you would have to.
I know. Well, I mean, well, yes, but these executive orders haven't even become laws or bill. Nothing's been voted on.
Well, no, that would only happen when we get a new president. But yeah, that's what you would do. Like you would just like that's the thing with the executive orders is that the next president can just undo them. That's why you want to get a fucking law passed. But Trump can't get laws passed. That's why he's actually weak. Like a strong president would be able to work the Congress, get all the shit that he wants passed, but he's not. Like he wants to act like a king, so he's doing these executive orders, like the shit with like you have to prove your citizenship.
I was just about to bring that up.
He can't even do that. It has no authority whatsoever. It's like fucking illegal. Like from like the jump, the president has no authority over the voting at all. So it's like doesn't even matter what the fuck he says there. Like that's an illegal executive order.
Yeah, I mean, for someone who's not a Nazi, says he's not a Nazi, he's got very Nazi-like ways and just like blitzkrieging these courts and throwing so much shit at the wall to see what sticks that it's hard to keep up, which is definitely like a Stephen Miller tactic where he's just throwing stuff like, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So they're throwing so much crap at once that it's making it difficult for the courts to keep up. But whenever they do kind of level off, I mean, I think it's going to be really difficult to pass some of these laws. Everything is, we're going to remove funding from states that'll accept ballots after election day. Like, I mean, he's trying to, I mean, what are you setting it up for? Like, that's what I'm confused. That's where like I get lost in all of this. Is like while he's doing all of this stuff, implementing all of these rules, this motherfucker's going to try to go for a third term.
Of course.
He's going to. Steve Bannon's on TV saying that he should and he hopes he goes for it, which he can't do, which is completely unconstitutional. That's why, like, people don't run for third terms. But, you know, he might trying to set it up and to where he's able to do that.
But it's also unconstitutional for an insurrection president, and the courts were like, fuck it.
He's immune. Well, I think that
no. They're just like like it's like literally I forget what the amendment is like, but it's like an amendment in the Constitution that says like specifically that
if you commit treason or your insurrection or rise against the government, you can't hold government office anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're just like that doesn't count
because it was an official duty of him as president. Which is like the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I don't even know. No, it was like basically it was like Colorado said that like they're not going to put him on the ballot. Maine said they're not going to put him on the ballot, I think, and the court just ruled that they can't do that, even though they can.
No, I know. Even though they can.
Even though that is their job, they do it all the time. Like if you were 30 years old and were trying to run for president, they would not put you on the ballot because you're not allowed to be on the ballot.
I mean, now, you know, I've been enjoying watching them be like, we got to impeach Amy Coney Barrett now. I'm like, that's the girl who brought you home, the overturn Roe v. Wade. Like, that was your lock-in vote. You pushed her through in like a week, and now.
I know.
And now she needs to be impeached, or John Roberts is a rhino Democrat activist judge. And I'm like, no, dude, Roberts is a fucking asshole and he's full of shit half the time. But whenever you want to impeach a judge for stopping something, he's like, well, we have like the appeals process for that. Like, impeaching the judge isn't the answer.
They'll never be able to do that. Like, I mean, as much as like Democrats would love to impeach all those fucks on the Supreme Court, that, you know, the right wingers like Clarence Thomas and, you know, fucking whatever.
Alito.
Yeah, Sam Alito. I have to name them all. Brett Kavanaugh, fucking Neil Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, and John Roberts. they wouldn't do it like this. You know, they wouldn't like have that because then Trump just appoints whoever the fuck he wants. So it's like so anyways, they would never get the votes to impeach them because you need 2/3 of a Senate majority to impeach, and the Democrats just wouldn't play ball like that.
Well, yes, doing executive orders to reverse stuff would be a quick way to do it. I don't know if that's the right way to go about doing it though, because then
No, using no, you're anything that Trump did via executive order that is terrible, you immediately can stop with an executive order, but that cannot happen until 4 years from now, dude.
no, well, I know that, but what I'm saying is, if we do then it just becomes a battle of executive orders.
That's always what that's what it already started off that way, dude. Trump did that to Obama, and then Biden did that to Trump, and now Trump's doing it to Biden, and he like his first day.
Yeah, but it hasn't always been like that. It's been like that for the past 16 years.
No, well, it's because It's because of Trump. Trump tries to like Trump. Trump tried to destroy like Obama's legacy, so he started it, and then he tries to govern via executive order, like so then when Biden got in office, he could stop some of the dumb shit that he was doing.
Yeah.
And then Trump gets back into office, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking fuck up Biden's legacy," and then he's gonna do dumb shit with his executive orders. So then we're gonna have to get in office and then reverse them. Like, I mean, that's not that crazy.
Trump needs to sign an executive order. We're going to Egypt. We own the pyramids now.
Right. Like, I mean, he's not overturning the CHIPS Act, the fucking Infrastructure Act, like, because those are fucking big boy laws that Biden got placed, like, got passed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess depending on how things go, I could see the executive orders and then passing laws to make it to where those can't be usurped again. Although we do see that like Trump's just trying to usurp everything.
Obviously.
Therapy question number 3: should you have to serve in the military to have a vote?
No.
Just asking. That's some Starship Trooper shit. You got to become a citizen. You gotta serve like Johnny Rico and Disney.
If you're asking me, should there be like mandatory service 1 year, either in the military or Peace Corps or something equivalent of something for the country, yes. And then in that sense, then yeah, that would be a requirement to vote, because that would be a requirement for every citizen. I think that would actually cause us to go to war a fuck ton less if everybody's kid was at stake. It's like these fucking politicians get into like office, like, yeah, fuck it, like, let's go to war. It's not my son. It most of the time, there's like some of them, but like, but barely any of them have kids that are gonna actually go to war. And so they're like, but if it affects everybody, then it's like, and like, because it's only 1% of the population, I think, like, is a part of the military in the United States right now. So if everybody's at stake, then, but also just like service to the country makes you like appreciate the country more, and it would be good for the country, and it would be good for you.
So you think that's a good idea if it was everybody? One year mandatory service, like Israel or something.
Yeah, but no, Israel is like, you go to the fucking military 1 year. I'm saying like you could just it could be like a social service, but it's like, but if it's for real.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. And like in Starship Troopers, you gotta to become a citizen, you gotta sign up and serve in the military. But if you don't, then you get to vibe around, but you're not a citizen. Which there's two sides to it. I don't think it's a bad idea. Mandatory military service is not the end of the world, but that would be disqualifying us because we didn't serve in the military.
Well, yeah, but you would
be like a grandfathered in. Yeah, that makes sense. That's all I got, man.
Okay. Well, I only have a couple articles. Just the top 4 takeaways from Tweedle Dickheads And Tweedledoge.
Someone was
From
like,
Axios.
they didn't really do this. They're just trolling everybody. I was like, no, I don't think so.
From Axios, Zachary Basu and Dave Lawler. Top 4 takeaways from Trump cabinet's explosive leak of Yemen war plans. President Trump's national security advisor accidentally invited the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic to a group text in which top officials debated highly sensitive plans for bombing Yemen, the magazine reported Monday. Why it matters. The extraordinary breach exposed classified information and private deliberations among the highest-ranking officials in the U.S. government and raised serious questions about the lax handling of America's secrets by Trump's cabinet. Vice President Vance, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe were among the 18 officials in the Signal chat. The White House confirmed the authenticity of the messages reported by Atlantic Editor-in-Chief Jeffrey Goldberg and said it had launched a review into how an inadvertent number was added to the chain. Trump himself told reporters at a press conference Monday that he wasn't aware of the story. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic, he said. Of course he's not.
That's so stupid.
A mind-boggling security breach. National security experts expressed disbelief and outrage over how Waltz could have made such a mistake and why sensitive war plans were being discussed on Signal, a publicly available encrypted messaging service, in the first place. This is where I used to use Signal to get cocaine delivered to me in a limo in Santa Monica when I lived there. That's the only time I ever used it.
Okay. Heard it here, folks.
The U.S. government does not permit the use of Signal to transmit classified information, such as the operational details of the March 15th strikes on the Houthis discussed in the group chat. Some national security lawyers suggested Waltz may have violated the Espionage Act by coordinating national defense plans in such a careless manner. Several participants in the group chat, including Waltz and Rubio, had for years excoriated former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for using a private email server to conduct government business. Vance, number 2, Vance as the voice of dissent, as momentum seemed to be building towards striking the Houthis, an Iranian-backed group that has disrupted billions of dollars in international trade in the Red Sea. Vance weighed in to say, I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the president is aware of how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now, Vance said. He argued the freedom of navigation in the Red Sea matters much more to Europe than the U.S. economically, that the strikes could cause oil prices to rise, and that delaying by a month would give the administration more time to build its case to the American people. Vance later told Hegseth, if you think we should do it, let's go. A spokesperson for Vance told The Atlantic that he and Trump had subsequent conversations about the strikes and are in complete agreement. Number 3, disagreement over messaging, not military strategy. Domestic politics and foreign policy are always intertwined, but it's particularly glaring in text message form. There is no debate in the messages Goldberg shared about the likely military effectiveness of the strikes in Yemen. Such conversations may well have taken place in other settings, but what is on display in the leaked text is a discussion of how to shape narrative at home. I think messaging is going to be tough no matter what. Nobody knows who the Houthis are, which is why we would need to stay focused on 1, Biden failed, 2, Iran funded, Hegseth wrote in a response to Vance's concerns that the plan would be contrary to Trump's message on Europe, and number 4, they really can't stand the Europeans. Vance's disdain for European political elites isn't just political theater. Here he argued against strikes that he felt would mainly benefit Europe and thus should be up to the Europeans to execute. Even after Waltz and others responded with evidence that only the U.S. could execute such an operation, Vance replied, I just hate bailing Europe out again. I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic, Hegseth wrote back. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that. It's super dumb. This is the dumbest shit ever. Using a third-party, unsecured app to discuss war plans, and you accidentally add a editor-in-chief of a of a newspaper that you fucking hate.
Hold on, it doesn't end here. The intrigue. A user identified as SM, possibly Stephen Miller,
Probably.
added that they would ensure that Europeans and Egyptians knew what we expect in return. It said the question was, if Europe doesn't remunerate, remunerate, I don't know, then what? If the U.S. successfully restores freedom of navigation at great cost, there needs to be some further economic gain extracted in return, the user continues. It's unclear what compensation the U.S. sought from its European allies for the strikes in Yemen. That is insane, dude. We're going to go bomb Yemen only if the fucking Europeans, like, break us off?
Break me off
like,
a piece of that.
Are you kidding, dude? We're the United States. We don't need to like grift at all times.
No, we do.
We print the fucking money.
It's our way, man.
God damn it. Okay, I have nothing.
Well, what to watch? Congress erupted at the news of the leak, with Democrats calling for an investigation and potential consequences for the national security officials involved in the incident. Every single one of the government officials on this text chain have now committed a crime, even if accidentally. We can't trust anyone in this dangerous administration to keep the United States of America safe, which is wild.
No shit.
So a lot of the information and stuff that was shared, we've only seen screen grabs or screenshots of things that were said, but apparently there was like actual like war plans shared in this, which would be like a huge, it's stuff.
Jeffrey Goldberg said that like, so he like waited, and then when the first reported bombs happened, exactly how they said they were going to happen in the war plans that he was involved in on Signal, that's when he was like, okay, yeah, confirmed that this is real, and then he left the group chat.
Imagine seeing that.
It's insane.
Being like, shit. And then Hegseth was like, no one did that. Nobody shared war plans. Fake news. Whenever he got off that plane, that guy's such a tool. It's wild because a lot of the information that was supposedly shared is supposed to be viewed in a skiv. If anybody knows what a skiv is or doesn't know what that is, it's like a fucking shed, basically. They have them at their homes. They have them in their offices.
No, it's a secure. Skiv stands for something. It's like a secure location, and it could be anything.
Well, but
as long as it's verified, for sure. Like nobody could be like tapped in there.
Well, you're not allowed to bring your phone in there. You're not allowed to take pictures. There's very strict rules around what you can do when viewing classified documents.
Right, but my room could be a skiv if the proper, checks in that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they came in here, like, debugged it, blah 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 blah, then this is now a skiv, and now it's treated as, it's kind of like Air Force One is whatever the fucking plane the president's on. It's not the actual plane that's with the president's seal on it. It's just whatever plane he's on is Air Force One. It's like a skiv. It's like treated wherever we are. This is now the skiv.
It's a secured location where you can't bring your phone. There's no pictures. There's no nothing. There's very strict guidelines in viewing top secret information in one of those areas. So sharing that information where you would have to look at it and see that stuff in one of those secured areas is wild. Like, that's a major violation. This would be the biggest scandal in the world if this happened during the Biden administration.
No shit.
Like, that's it. This would be the double standard is crazy. The excuses that are being made are really bad because there's really no excuse for it. It's just
they're like the worst people in the world, dude. They're like the people that like your parents would be like, or my dad would be like, do not be like these idiots, dude. Like, they're fucking bullies. They don't ever take accountability. They're like, it's like they're not smart like at all. Like they're not like introspective. Like they're just like selfish as fuck. Like they only care about themselves. Like they're not like protectors or providers. Like they're just like schmucks.
No, Well, it's one of my words. But it's true. So, I mean, it's our Secretary of Defense who's partaking in this whole entire conversation and sharing this information. And then rather than, and it's funny because he sat there and said like, oh, this didn't happen. No one shared war plans. And then the Trump administration had already been like, nah, this is true. This happened. It actually happened. What was reported
I heard
is true.
Trump's really pissed behind the scenes, but to the press, he's like, it doesn't matter. He said it doesn't matter.
I don't know what that is. I don't know who that is.
He said it. That was what he first said. Update. It doesn't matter. That's a quote.
Hands tied, man.
You want to just go to your article?
What's the next one? Conjugal visit. What? Hold on. What is this?
It's been like some conjugal visits. So
Two women were allegedly killed while visiting their city. I saw this. This 62-year-old woman started dating and got married to some dude in prison. They met up for a conjugal visit and he killed her. That's a bad idea. Like meeting people in prison and then deciding you're going to go see him and try to get some pipe or lay some pipe.
Dude, I mean, don't hate
that's crazy. No, I can't.
Because like under the Trump administration, with a podcast like this, what if we get locked up for a little bit? Political prisoners type shit. I want some conjugals.
Yeah, but you're not like in there.
The shorty coming through.
You're not in there for murdering somebody, and now I'm gonna hook up with you. People are weird. There's this whole culture.
I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about.
Well,
just my lady coming through.
That's one of these women. Met this dude, got married him. He's in prison. Like it's not like they'd been together for 20 years and then he went to prison. Like They started seeing each other, and then. Like while he was in prison, she chose to go see him, and he strangled her to death during their conjugal visit. That's wild. Like that's way more on you. Well, obviously the guy who murdered you is a piece of shit. And he's a scumbag. But I'm sorry. That's like being like, oh my god, I'm so in love with Jeffrey Dahmer. I can't believe he tried to bite me. Be like, yeah, bitch. What are you talking about? First of all, he's gay. What are you marrying a gay guy who's a cannibal? Second of all, he's a cannibal, and you're shocked he bit you. What are we talking about here?
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, never mind.
Don't walk outside when it's 20 degrees and be freezing your ass off and then ask for my coat. At one point, like, bitch, you knew it was cold. Bro, you knew it was cold. Why didn't you bring a fucking jacket? What are we talking about? So I'm going to be...
Well, is this going to ruin it for everybody else?
No.
They're going to shut the conjugals down?
Maybe for people that have already been in prison for strangling people, yes. The fact that you're like, hey, man, during visitation,
what if they're
during visitation, you got to be behind the plastic. You got to be behind the plexi, dog. You got to talk on that phone. No touching. No nothing. You can't hug your son because you're in prison for murder. But if mom wants to come in here and give you that cooch, go for it. That makes no sense.
Maybe it makes a more pleasant prison atmosphere.
I mean, it might be. I mean, there's daddy issues and stuff, but if you got like prison issues, I don't know. Project Pat had a song that said, "Don't save her." Like, save yourself, bitch. What do you want me to save you? Don't go see the murderer in prison that you met on fucking J-Date or whatever the fuck that you met on Prison Connection. What are we doing? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. He's murdered 12 people. Yeah, man, getting some ass tomorrow. She's coming, and we're going to be locked in a room with two of us. No one watching for a little bit. I'm about to get me some. I'd be like, dude, I just watched you beat the shit out of somebody with 3 bars of soap and a sock.
No, you don't get conjugals if you're, like, acting up, I don't think.
Okay, you acted up once enough to where you probably shouldn't get them. That's what I'm saying. If you're murdering somebody the first time you're gonna bang them during a conjugal visit, you've got no, man. Like you've killed somebody before that, or this was it. That's proof the system doesn't work. That dude's not rehabilitated. You know how I know?
No,
he
murdered
a girl. He strangled her to death while they were fucking.
We get it. He's not now. We know that now.
I'm pretty sure we knew that before. He's in prison for the rest of his life, so it's not like it's not
And
that
we
deep.
don't know what we're not asking the hard hitting questions. What did she say?
What in there?
What did she say?
Probably help stop. Why are you doing this? And he's like, "Bitch, this is what I do." I don't know. I don't know.
Why did he have to?
What did you
her?
expect? Like I don't know. Like
why did she make him kill her?
Like, let's get, oh yeah, conjugal visit. This guy he's murdered 50 people. He was an arsonist. I'm going to bring him a cake with some matches. And then you're like, this guy set me on fire. I'd be like, no shit. He's done it before. That's the whole
thing. What if
thing.
she said some really fucked up shit to him?
I mean, I think you just let it slide. You're in prison. You're trying to get some good. So I don't know why. Like, that's weird. If you have
admitted to like doing some like terrible shit,
if you're in prison for murder and somebody wants to be with you and wants to show up at a prison and bang
let them say whatever they
bang
want
you in an extra, yeah, you should be counting your blessings, bro. What are you talking about?
True. That is true. That's
like
true.
the bricks on the wall in your fucking 2x10 cell.
Yeah, you gotta let a lot slide.
Yeah, like you gotta be
everything.
You better be patient as fuck.
Ask no questions.
Yeah, because I mean, she could still be like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah,
and from the looks of it, she was down. I mean, come on, if you're
obviously,
if you're going to prison to go bang some dude you've never met before, dude.
Hey, is this a?
I think he was in prison for strangling somebody to death.
Is this one of those things where she died doing what she loved?
Maybe.
Can we say that?
Maybe. But what is it that she loved? Like
is that something that you would
fucking
like
dudes inside prison?
Yeah.
Like that's a weird
obviously.
Fetish. That's totally a fetish too. I bet you that's like a total genre.
Golf clap for her. Golf clap for her. She died doing what she loved. And that's the goal, right?
Scary dick.
I don't want to die doing something I love because then I'm not gonna love it anymore. It's like whoa.
Well, no, they say that because then you'd be like at least happy when you did pass.
No, I'd be fucking.
So you just be mad at hell, like I hated that. I knew I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
I knew I shouldn't.
I knew I was having too good of a fucking time, dude.
Yeah, that's true. I knew I was living my best life way too hard and got shut the fuck down. So I'm thankful for the struggle. I'm like, oh man, no, we got a little struggle going on. That's fine. It lets me know I'm alive and. At least, like, it makes no sense. And I'm dead serious. I'm pretty sure this dude was in prison for strangling. It's a shocker. Like that. Well, what point does personal responsibility play a role?
I mean, this, it's like suicide by cop. Maybe this is suicide by prisoner.
I mean, maybe. I guess you could, like, go find, like, the most toxic, dangerous inmate and be like, I want to fuck him so he'll kill me. That's crazy.
People are crazy, dude.
Obviously. We've had 2 people. There's an article, not about 1, 2 people murdered during conjugal visits. You showed up to fuck and got killed.
To be honest, I'm surprised it didn't happen more.
I'm sure it has. We're just hearing about it now. That's totally probably happened. Like, I like to believe that everything's happened.
They're like, yeah. Man, that's why we make them sign the waiver.
Yeah, sign this waiver before you go in there. All right, uncuff them. Y'all can touch each other. I'll be right outside. Yeah. But I won't hear you scream? What are we like? It makes no sense.
Final article, y'all.
Pisses me off. This is from the AP. Texas Rep Jasmine Crockett. Shout out. This girl's spicy as fuck. Love her. Mocks Greg Abbott, who uses a wheelchair, as Governor Hot Wheels. Little hurt, but also love it. I think she's friend of the pod. Friend of the pod now.
Friend of the pod? She didn't shout us out? She didn't quote us?
She didn't have to. People have been calling him Hot Wheels.
She didn't tweet quote us? What is it called?
Tag.
She didn't retweet us?
Retweet? No.
Mention us?
No.
At me. Better at me.
But everybody, she said, what did she say? Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett mocked state's governor during a weekend appearance, referring to Greg Abbott who uses a wheelchair as Governor Hot Wheels. We all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now, Crockett said, a Dallas Democrat, said about Abbott at a Republican while addressing the Human Rights Campaign event. And the only thing hot about hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey, which is awesome. But this is what they don't talk about too. When they're like, so people on Twitter are exploding. How dare you? This ratchet queen. Like people say crazy racist shit about her all the time. But it was Greg Abbott was paralyzed in '84 after a tree fell on him while he was running.
Happened to a nicer guy.
Severed his spinal cord, and now he's 67. But remember, the law that Greg Abbott used to sue the company that paralyzed him is that he got all of his money from that, multimillionaire after that, and then when he became governor, got rid of the law that he used to sue that company. He pulled the ladder up, or pulled the ramp up, I guess.
Yep.
I don't think.
Ramp. There you go.
I mean, I'm sure he's got a good upper body strength.
You
but
perfected it. You perfected it. I was going to correct you, and I didn't know where I was going. Ramp was perfect.
Crockett elected to the House in 2022, was roundly criticized by Republicans for the comments, and an aside she made during her speech to civil rights group that eventually I fucked that up. An aside she made during her speech to the civil rights group event after she thanked Morgan Cox, a group board member and fellow Dallas resident, according to the video posted it on their YouTube channel. Her comments were disgraceful. Texas Senator John Cornyn, who fucking called me today with a pre-recording about watching some town hall, and I said, fuck you, John Cornyn, and I blocked him. Quit calling me. You're corrupt as shit.
I'm surprised he's doing town hall.
John Cornyn, Ken Paxton, and fucking Hot Wheels Abbott. And I was like, Texans call.
What about Ted Cruz, dude?
Ted Cruz hasn't called me, and he's corrupt, but he's like out. He's out of the mix now. I feel like he just doesn't really count. Ted Cruz is like so lame that he's not really doing anything of importance. He's just kind of there. He's happy.
Podcast host,
he's still happy. He's in the room. He's just like, hey, I'm here. Crockett suggested Tuesday she was not referring to the Abbott's condition. Instead, she posted on X she was referring to the Abbott's policies and sending thousands of immigrants who were born in Texas illegally to cities where local policy limits cooperation with federal immigrant authorities such as New York and Philadelphia. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he's used to transfer migrants into communities led by black mayors. See, and I just own it. No, you're making fun of him for being an asshole and that he's in a wheelchair. And like it's a low blow, but you got to be a real big piece of shit for people.
We established long ago on the podcast he deserves any low
exactly
blow that he gets because he's like a fuckwad.
And he's already halfway there because the seat sits low. But like he's
like people die because of like the dumb shit that he like professes.
Most Texans, there'll be somebody in a MAGA hat and be like, oh, I need this or something like my place of employment. And I'll be like, hey, you can't do that. And they'll be like, that's bullshit. I'm like, don't talk to me. Talk to Greg Abbott. I say that all the time. And then it doesn't matter who they are. They're like, fuck Greg Abbott. There's so many people. Like,
he keeps getting elected, bro.
A lot of Texans call him Hot Wheels. We're not the first. We won't be the last. I'm glad somebody said it in person. We watched Trump make fun of a physically disabled reporter. We've watched Trump say Obama's wife is a man, that Obama's not from here, and that he's like a Muslim terrorist. We've heard all this crazy shit that these people on the right have said about others. And she makes fun of arguably the biggest dickhead governor, top 4 dickhead governors in the country. I hate Greg Abbott more than I hate Ronnie D. Meatball Ron.
Oh, yeah, Hobbs.
But he called him Meatball Ron, and Ron's like, how dare they make fun of Greg Abbott? Greg Abbott's a piece of shit. And yes, he deserves. You have to be a big scumbag to be in a wheelchair and have people grab that low-lying fruit because you're that big of a scumbag.
Never forget, though, Meatball Ron was after they called him Puddin' Fingers. And think he literally he didn't have a spoon one time.
So he used his hand.
He just put his fingers in the pudding and then would lick it off. Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, allegedly.
White galoshes. Fucking stupid. And now she's being threatened on Twitter. Elon Musk is making all these comments about Jasmine Crockett and how she's horrible. Man, he'll roll off into the sunset and be fine. Greg Abbott don't give a fuck.
Got him.
And at the end of the day, like I said,
They see me rolling. They hating. Patrolling.
Looking to find me some illegals. Roll around on my Hot Wheels. Run around on my Hot Wheels. Fuck that guy, dude. He's a piece of shit. Greg Abbott sucks.
Rolling.
He's a... No, I know y'all be hating this shit right here. ABBOT. Abbott is right here. Put your hands in the air. No, he's a scumbag, and he makes everybody's lives miserable, and he deserves everything he's got coming to him because he's an asshole. And now we're upset. It's like there's the political discourse has become taking cheap shots, like we talked about last episode with Gavin Newsom. Agree with it or disagree. Him having healthy conversations with these people is important, I think, for him long term if he's going to run for president. Regardless of who they are, having that healthy discourse is more important than taking cheap shots. But
Rolling.
Jasmine Crockett's been called
Rolling.
ratchet, trashy,
Rolling on a railroad.
like ghetto. She's been called these things like by Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene and old fucking handjob Boebert. All these people have made these horrible comments about her, and she makes fun of the biggest scumbag and calls him Hot Wheels. And now we gotta get rid of her. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, he's got it coming. I'm all for it.
Gotta roll, roll, roll. Gotta feel my soul. All right.
What is it? Crockett has faced criticism from Republicans for suggesting last week that tech billionaire Elon Musk heading the Trump's administration of Doge needs to be taken down. I mean, she's outspoken. She doesn't give a fuck. She's definitely going to get reelected wherever the fuck she's from in Texas and Dallas. Like, she represents a group of constituents that don't like him, don't like these policies, don't like Greg Abbott. So there's like half of Texas is cheering. They're like, oh, fuck yeah, that was awesome. Like, that's his old Hot Wheels, man. That's it. He's not even a Matchbox car. He's fucking Hot Wheels. It's not even Matchbox. A Matchbox had cooler cars back in the day. You were Matchbox or Hot Wheels. I was always Matchbox. I got more Hot Wheels because they're cheap, sleazy, and easy. Like this fucking...
Like your mother.
The Tin Man, he's the aluminum man from the waist down because that's what he sits on. Like, I can't stand this dude. And they're saying this is his last term. We'll see.
Is he not term limited?
No, I don't think there's no term limit for governorship.
In Texas?
I don't think so.
There is in California.
Yeah, that's why Gavin Newsom's like, I gotta run for president. I'm out.
Yep. It is time.
What else do you got for us?
Meditate, bitches.
We still almost pumped out 2 hours, so that's pretty good. I rambled, for 45 minutes about pyramids. Check that shit out. Go watch a YouTube video on it. They're the guys who have done the research or the original journalists who released the information. Has like a hour-long conversation. It's an interview. It's super interesting. The shit's real. There's shit on...
Then next week, we'll talk to you about pyramid schemes. Starting with XRP, Solana, Cardano, Tether. Not Christcoin.
No, Christcoin, because we
power by the divinity. I had a date with divinity and she wouldn't fuck.
They're worried about the maturation of their money. We're worried about your salvation. And just don't forget that. That's more important.
God's bathroom floor and beyond.
We're trying to go from the basement floor to the heavens above. Christcoin.
Even heaven needs a Pullman.
Yeah, how are you going to pay for your Starbucks in heaven? Anybody can get into the pearly gates. It just costs a fee. And can you pay the toll? Because it's paid in Christcoin. Just remember that, you guys.
Haha.
Make sure y'all like, follow, subscribe, comment, whatever. Tell us we suck. We don't care. We appreciate y'all listening and checking us out. Damn, dude. We're almost at what's the centennial? 175? What is it? What's the number for a centennial?
100.
No. I'll look it up. 175 is something.
Oh yeah, it's something.
There's some name for it, but we're almost at 175. That's really cool. I'm excited.
Shout
But like, follow, subscribe, check us out on all platforms. We appreciate y'all swinging by as always. Be good, be safe. Watch out for Hot Wheels on the streets. He's coming for all of us, but fuck that guy. Check out the pyramids, and as always, go fuck yourselves.
Shout out.
Every now and then
Recording
when I feel a
stopped.
bit buggy, I look at the floor, maybe need a new ruggy. Scratch that, I'll get some beers and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need, some old man huggy. Old man huggy. Some old man huggy. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.